Thank the gentleman. I have a few more follow-up questions. Okay. We have people in the United States who were infected. They were infected outside. Right now it's winter across the United States, and we're getting into more of the mosquito season. Do we know if the disease can be transmitted from a mosquito biting an infected person? Dr. Fauci, do you know? So we're gaining in the number of infected people in the United States. It's in their blood, and a mosquito bites them. Then we infect the mosquito population here.
That certainly can happen, and what
I'm not a scientist.
No. Well, certainly that's the way it is spread now in the areas where there's local transmission in South America and the Caribbean. We have those mosquitoes in the United States, particularly in a certain region in the southeastern part along the Gulf Coast. And one of the things that we're preparing for is that we have, as you've heard from Dr. Schuchat and others, a considerable number of imported cases that got infected elsewhere and come home. Right. We're going to see more of those. What will not be surprising is that sometime in the future, we will see local transmission where just what you're saying happens, where someone comes back, they get bit by a mosquito and transmit
others. The way
others.
you stop that is you stop the mosquito. Like we've gone after West Nile. We had West Nile right here in Washington,
exactly.
D.C.
So it's enhanced mosquito control, and that's exactly what the people in Florida do.
That's mostly a state and local issue. I don't know if we are helping any of those local entities or if they can use their funds. We have CDC funds, and that's not CDC funds. We have, what is it, community block grants?
Quite a bit of the emergency request is to be able to support state and local mosquito control. Mosquito control is very patchy right now, and there aren't resources.
In Florida, we're damn good at it.
And we're all grateful.
We've had mosquitoes, and well, most of the Gulf Coast region and you go. I've worked in Louisiana along the Gulf Coast to Texas, and they're pretty good at it. But again, there are places that are not as good at it. And the reaction that Florida has taken is, Florida set a model already for the United States. But what we want to do is make certain we're covering the rest. It sounds like we've already had a little damage in Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and some of the Caribbean region.
Yes, the living conditions and the climate in Puerto Rico and the Caribbean are such that the mosquitoes are very intense, circulating year-round. In areas that actually have good mosquito control in the U.S., the type of mosquito that we're dealing with here is a bit difficult. There are a variety of species, but the Aedes aegypti mosquito is a daytime biter. It's inside and outside.
So
it bites on
there
many
again,
people.
Public information for folks in the continental United States. You've got to use insect repellent. The local authorities and state have to do more spraying. We can't leave. I've seen some of the recommendations already. Even small amounts of standing water are breeding ground for the coming spring and summer.
And it just may need to be more intensive mosquito control because this one is quite difficult, particularly, as I mentioned, in Puerto Rico.
Now, you didn't mention this, Dr. Moreau, but I read about it and didn't think about it. Did you mention that the games are being held in Brazil in their winter? Did you mention that? It might have been in your written testimony, but folks don't know that, which means that you've got the best chance of not getting infected in Brazil where your Olympics are being held. Is it in July or August? I forget the dates. What is it?
August for the Olympic Games,
and that's
September for the Paralympic Games.
That's some of your coldest months down there. So you've got your least likely time of being infected. For folks that want to go to, we want our U.S. team to participate, to be protected, and we want our visitors also to have that. But every time you get a chance, Burrow, you need to tell folks that you got the least chance of being bitten or infected during that period of time, because it's the opposite of the the northern hemisphere. Okay. Okay, DOD has already done a lot of work. How do we, how have we been coordinating with DOD, Department of Defense, for anyone? Can you tell us, CDC
Maybe I
or
can
Dr.
begin and Dr. Fauci
Okay.
can continue. There's quite a bit of intergovernmental coordination across the leadership to do the planning, both for force protection. There's also a lot of research that DOD does.
Yes.
And they are part of our countermeasures.
So we're not
Group.
duplicating?
No, same with the Ebola research. One of the promising vaccines was developed originally through
Right.
military work. So I would say the coordination is good.
What would you say, Dr.
I
Fauci?
totally agree. In fact, we've worked with the DOD on a number of issues, the most recent of which was Ebola. We'll be doing it here. And we have very good coordination, and it comes centrally. I mean, we coordinate within HHS, but through NSC, we coordinate among all the agencies.
Okay. Well, at this point in the record, and with your permission, Ms. Duckworth, I'll enter in the record, and we trying to get everybody who's involved here, their testimony. And we asked DOD, who is not a witness. We have testimony from the Department of Defense. We have testimony from U.S. Agency for International Development, and testimony from the American Mosquito Control Association. And the gentlelady moves that this be made part of the record without objection. So ordered. So we'll put that in the record at this point. Because, again, I've got two federal agencies here, and we've got the state witness and then association here for our Olympic committee. And we need to know that we have a coordinated and seamless connect with all of our agencies. Did you want to comment any more on DOD? Okay. I just saw here that there's research outside the United States, a British technology company, I don't know the name, is currently testing genetically modified mosquito famous mosquito named OX513A in Brazil. You're aware of this, Dr. Are we doing anything with these folks?
Yes, we are. We actually, the idea of genetically modified mosquitoes, which you make a male sterile and release it into the environment, is something
And
that
they
is being-
released some of these on an
Yes,
island already?
they have.
Okay.
The release of genetically modified mosquitoes in order to prevent the procreation of other mosquitoes is something that has been tried in local ways where you would go into a relatively restricted geographic area, and it seems to be rather effective at a local level. The challenge with genetically modified mosquitoes, in addition to somewhat of the societal pushback about anything genetically modified being released into the environment, is that it's difficult to scale it up on a countrywide basis. That's one of the problems we have with that.
Okay, and then, again, I'm just trying to find out if we're covering all of our bases here. Then you've got, I'm learning more as we go along. You recommended CDC, some of the insect repellent, and I just found out, I didn't know they had this. This is insect repellent for clothing and gear, and our all-knowledgeable ranking member who knows about DOD said, yes, they have this, but they also found it causes cancer. This seems like a good product, and I go down to like Puerto Rico all the time. One of my favorite places to visit, just came back after the holidays. But is this stuff good to use, and are you guys recommending that? CDC, tell us if the cure is worse than the disease?
We work really closely with the EPA, who registers insecticides and repellents and so forth. And so our website has a link to what is okayed and what is not. And so there are many repellents, and then there's the permethrin treatment for the clothing, which some of the products are fine, and I can't
The
see that
staff
far.
said that you said this is okay.
Okay, if
But
that's
I'll
the one
also
that's
be
okay.
conscious of the warning of my very knowledgeable
I had to swear.
ranking.
We used to soak our uniforms in it.
She says they used to soak their uniforms in it. I'd never heard of it, but it's just interesting.
Right, we
And
actually-
again, getting information out to people how they can protect themselves is so important. So we've covered some of that. I was kind of shocked the first time I've heard your 62 days, at least for the males, to possibly be infected and have a pose some risk. Has that, I've not seen that before. Is that the first time you've announced it today that?
That report has been out for a few weeks now, but
I've not
remember
heard
that-
it publicly.
Yeah, right.
I've heard
Yeah.
21 to 30 days.
Yeah, no.
Advisory, which is a different situation, but I think we need to be aware of that. I
Yes.
appreciate your making it known publicly. Dr. Armstrong, well, you haven't been neglected, and we appreciate your coming here. Okay, you're at the other end of the spectrum. I've gotten good report from our local health officials and the quick response from the governor, the quick response from you, the state level. Tell us, candid, I know it's awkward having CDC and NIH here. Is there something we're missing? Is there something you could recommend that we should pay attention to from the state level and local? You're on the front line.
Well, thank you for your question. We have to manage this situation in the state and locally with what we know. And what we have appreciated is guidance from the CDC now that is acknowledging uncertainty and what we don't know and helping us to really provide insights for people out of an abundance of caution so that we keep them safe. And I think that's been a key change from Ebola to Zika, that there is acknowledgement by the CDC that just because they don't have a definitive answer to something doesn't mean something doesn't need to be said. We still need a guideline. And we, again, are leveraging all of the CDC guidelines to protect the people of Florida and our visitors.
Okay. A follow-up to my question to Dr. Fauci about the genetically modified organisms. I guess there was some efforts in Florida to curtail some mosquito-borne threats in Florida using that approach. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I am aware of that in the past, and I think that
That's a route we should take? Was that successful? What did we use that on? I don't recall. So,
I'll have to get you the specific virus against which we were using a mosquito approach. But I would echo what Dr. Fauci says. I think there needs to be a great deal of public awareness and education before doing that, and we need to be aware of unintended consequences from introducing genetically modified mosquitoes.
now, the other thing is you're at the state level, you're at the federal level. When I spoke with our local, one of our local health directors, he said, we get these cases, he says, and we're also responsible for monitoring the individuals who are infected. He says, well, we have very limited staff, and I need people then to be the monitors. And as you get multiple people, you need multiple staff checking up on them. So some of the resources to the local entities to actually monitor these folks, it appears it might be putting a strain on them. Do you have a way of dealing with that? Do we have some emergency funds at the state level to make certain that folks who are infected are monitored?
Well, at this point, we're applying what we learned through monitoring for Ebola virus. We had a very aggressive program.
They told me, actually, and listen to this, he says, one way we would go when they thought someone was affected with Ebola, he said they'd come with a sign and what's your temperature? He says, because you didn't want to come in contact with them. That was a different situation, but you have to modify your approach to the risk, even for the worker. But my concern was the funds to make certain you have the workers who can go out and monitor these folks. Right now, these are very limited numbers, but we'll have to make certain at the state level or on an emergency basis if we see where we've got to have additional personnel that need is met. So I think those are the major questions. Again, we have some serious issues here. We've done, or you all have done, we've done nothing yet, but you've done a great job in staying ahead of it. Usually, this committee is very harsh on folks, and we had some tough time with the start of Ebola and some other issues, but I'm very pleased with where we are right now. We just want to keep it under control and go forward. Did you have anything else, Ms. Duckworth or Mr. Solomon? Well, again, we'll keep the record open for additional questions for our witnesses. Make any responses part of the record today. I want to thank each of you for your good work, for testifying today, and look forward to working with you. And we'll try to pledge ourselves to get the resources that are necessary in a timely fashion. There being no further business before the subcommittee, this hearing is adjourned. Thank you.